Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast for the Rewind Show, where we look forward to looking back at some of the last times we played this weekend's upcoming opponents. Hello, my name is Craig Finbow. This is the Rewind Show where we look at the last time we played this weekend's opponents in the top division and more matches from the not so distant past. Joining me for the first instalment of your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Blue Monday build up to Leicester is David Diamond. How are you going, Dave?
Yeah, morning, Craig. Good, thank you. Yeah, very good. Looking forward to playing Leicester. I think perhaps some realistic chance, should I say, of some points, but obviously not tempting fate. I must admit, just going over the games we're looking to cover, we always seem to be playing Leicester when we're pretty much in the bar one season, perhaps when we're in that sort of nether regions of the division, don't we? So next weekend probably won't be any different, will it? Really?
No, and no pressure on that game either.
No, none at all.
And some breaking news before we start. We have a new show partnership to let everyone know about. Now, discussions, I think, are still ongoing with Dave and myself about whether we get a Talbot Sunbeam to drive around Ipswich Town in,
sponsored logo.
That's it, Alan Brazil and George Burley. But All About Hearing, Dave, point to the logo, please, there it is, good work. Suffolk-based hearing care professionals help you out if you have any audio quality issues, not just around the pod, but in general. allabouthearing.co.uk. Thank you very, very much for your sponsorship of the show. Fantastic.
Excellent.
Stuff.
Thanks. Yeah.
And as ever, as we always say, if you were at any of these matches that we happen to be talking about, please do stick some of your memories in the comments. We always take a look and stick a thumbs up on them. And of course, in return, if you can give us a thumbs up, a like, chuck us a subscribe, whatever you can do on your particular platform, be absolutely fantastic. Now, we know Leicester from more recent past and more recent battles, shall we say. But we do also have a half-decent previous with them in the top division going back. And this is what we're going to look at today. Starting, Dave, on Boxing Day 2001. And we are back to the Carling Premiership.
Yeah, when we review these games, it just staggers me. I mean, I know it's common knowledge we've been away from the Premier League for 22 seasons, but it's 23 years ago, Craig. How has that happened? I'm sure you do. I remember this game quite vividly. This one, as part of.
Well, so more importantly, before we start remembering the game, what was number one then? What was Christmas number one in what would have been 2000? Yeah, 2001. And this completely passed me by that this record.
Oh, no,
that this song was number one in 2000.
Cliff wasn't Cliff. Wasn't a Cliff? Wasn't like. A Cliff Christmas thing, was it? Or a Slade reissue or Wizard or
nothing Christmassy about it whatsoever. It was
need a clue.
It was a former boy band who had split more recently and an actress double act.
Former boy band.
Yeah. Most famous boy band in the country at the time.
Take Robbie Williams?
Correct. And he was singing with Tom Cruise's wife, I think, probably.
What the hell?
Was Nicole Kidman married to Tom Cruise at one point?
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, okay, got you. Yeah. I think she was in a dim, distant past. Got you. It's Frank Sinatra song, isn't it?
It is. Frank and Nancy song.
So something stupid. There you go. I'd have never, without the quite hefty clues. No, yeah.
And then you go and spoil it all, Dave, by saying something stupid.
By getting the answer.
Christmas number one. Did you remember that being Christmas number one?
No, I can remember them performing it, but no way would I said that was at Christmas. No idea.
Okay, and as you said, Dave, about us being in the lower echelons of the division when we end up playing these teams, getting the table up pre-match, we were bottom of the league at Christmas 2001. 18 games played, 2 wins from our first 18, what we'd give for those, and 12 points. And just above us, in 19th place, were our opponents, Leicester City.
Yeah, I think, spoiler alert, but I think, yeah, both of us, I don't think survived. Well, I know we didn't, but I'm sure they didn't survive the season. Yeah, they've got a very meagre goals tally there as well after 18 games. They weren't the most entertaining team to watch. Bless them, 12 goals in 18 games. Goodness me. So hang on, I'm just doing the math here. Hang on. So how many have we played so far? Oh, we could easily attain 12 points by
Christmas.
Boxing Day. I'm sure we can.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Okay, cover star of the week, as we tend to do. Previous town manager wearing a baggy white shirt.
Previous town manager wearing a baggy white. Previous town manager then.
Yep. No, he played for us then and is a previous town manager.
Oh God. Jim McGill.
Jim McGill.
Oh, those shirts were. We've commented on these shirts before, haven't we? The cut of these shirts were incredibly.
He looks
generous.
like he's about 16 stone. He's
Jack
got like
Clark
a 16 stone
Jack
top.
Clark would have thrived in that kit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Imagine him wearing that top and and his current shorts for Jack Clark. Jesus.
Look,
they've probably gone a bit over the top in the Christmas decorations around the name and the logo.
Bit of Christmas bling there, but and with the little we spoke about it before with the little
ITFC
magazine
football,
in the corner there.
Right.
Yeah. It's football.
Dear old George.
Yep.
Good work. Right, lineups. Let's have a look at those lineups. Ipswich Town. Looking like a team which potentially shouldn't have been bottom of the league, you'd think, looking at that lineup. It's just a good, solid team with a sprinkling of stardust, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it just is. We only had Peralta for that relegation season, didn't we? But he became a bit of a folk hero, didn't you know? He really was really well thought. I'm certainly we'll get onto him latter part of this game. I think Marcus Bent was about to embark on this ridiculous goal scoring run, wasn't he? That I think ended up with him, with which we've spoken before in recent weeks, being, was it February Player of the Month for the Barkley, whatever it was, I think. Yeah, just a solid side. I like the look. Quite like the look of the sort of midfield. I mean, Finidi George, enigma that he was, but we did see some moments from him at times, didn't we? And Rusa, who again, a bit like Peralta, even more of a cult hero as well. But yeah, solid. I'd say quite solid. Like quite a look at that back four, actually quite solid, isn't it? And obviously we have again Serini in goal, that sort of very much divided opinion, but yeah, Horizon was good for us when you look at that, wasn't he? He was quality for us.
I do wonder, looking at those squad numbers, whether we've had and I'm sure Stat would be able to tell us, whether we've had a higher squad number starting 11 there. You've got a 34, a 35, a 33, a 38, a 30.
Yeah, we need to put that to Stat, but that's not a bad shout, actually, there, Craig.
It's not quite 1 to 11, is it?
No, it certainly isn't. No, not one for the purists, that one. But as you said, yeah, a solid side that, yeah, ultimately probably shouldn't have been relegated. But anyway.
Right, Leicester. So quick look at them. Name or two pop out of the screen on this one.
So we've got obviously Ian Walker in goal, Frank Sinclair,
Matty Elliott. We had
Matty Elliott, like to be, Muzzy, is it? So
number 10 looks familiar.
The pantomime Robbie Savage at number 8, and yeah, number 10 looks extremely familiar. So and obviously in the early stages of his Leicester career, I mean, left us the previous summer in up there in a 2 with Brian Dean, famously scorer of the first goal in the Premier League.
And we were without a win since August. And apparently the game began with the booing of Robbie Savage because it was the away game that he'd had a contretemps with our Italian goalkeeper, hadn't he? And managed to convince the referee that something untoward had happened.
Indeed, he had. I seem to think, did this not come off the back, though, of our win at Spurs?
It did, yeah. 2-1.
This the right season? It did, didn't it? Yeah, This was. So we'd started our mini revival. It was potentially season-changing result, wasn't it? I think the game before, which I think was just before Christmas, I remember it snowing that game, yeah, this was yeah, you're right. This was would have been our first home win since August. Yeah, yeah,
But we won 2-0.
we
I
did.
think the first half was pretty nondescript by all accounts, but a couple of good goals in the second half. Rich has managed to dig these out for us. Thank you to Rich. They're not readily available online, bizarrely enough. You'd think that pretty much every Premier League goal would be available somewhere at some point. But,
I can remember the first. Looking at these goals back, the first goal was just brilliant from Royce, wasn't it? I think is it Marshall? He wins the ball off at sort of right back.
Some may argue uncharacteristically won the ball back.
Yeah, really. Yeah, he wasn't perhaps known for his sort of tracking back and his sort of robustness in those positions, but wins it back and just puts a good ball in the air and Bent's just there. And I think it was his first Ipswich goal, actually. I think that was. I said the start of his run. So I guess. Because I don't think there was no transfer kind of windows then.
No, because we must have signed him in.
I'm pretty sure November,
December. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we did. So yeah, this was his first Ipswich goal. Spoiler alert, he was going to go on to a hell of a run. But yeah, really good finish, good ball in the box. He was just there. Predator 6-yard box headed finish, wasn't it? Great goal. Great ball in, wasn't it? And a player, Marcus Bent, who's got links to Ipswich, Leicester, and Brentford from the previous weekend, isn't it? Yeah,
amongst probably the other 89 clubs in the Premier League.
He did have a few. He did have it. There was, for the older ones, more clubs and what was it, Peter Stringfellow or the golfer Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
all 70s and 80s references there, Dave. Good work.
Sorry, what's that, mate?
All 70s and 80s references.
Oh, you can't throw it in somehow.
Yeah, so that was 1-0, and then 2-0. Our friend Martin was yet again the creator again, wasn't he? We went Nigeria, the Netherlands, Argentina for this goal, I believe.
This is a lovely goal. Build up, but then I think Royce sort of like lifts the ball into the box, doesn't he? Sort of delicate, like lifts the ball over the last defender, and Peralta, a really good run from midfield, from central, drifts over to the left. It's a clever finish, isn't it? Because he just sort of left foot first time, sort of volleyed finish. I think from the sort of corner of the 6-yard box across Walker in the far corner. It was another. I think didn't Peralta model the Marcus Stewart? Was he long sleeve, short sleeves, gloves? I remember him certainly.
Predominantly long sleeve.
I think it was. He was long sleeve. I think it was Stewart was the short sleeve glove man, wasn't he? But yeah, great finish and past Walker and but like we said, the sort of second game of a kind of a decent 8-9 game run. Yeah,
unfortunately that run didn't take us too much up the table.
Well,
we swapped positions basically with Leicester.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the other team, yeah. I mean, you're already 4 points, I suppose. 19. Yeah, Southampton. Yeah, all the usual suspects who you'd expected to be down there that season are down there already, aren't they?
Yeah. But we'd been at the bottom for 6 weeks, so we managed to claw.
We'd had a horrendous run. Yeah, look at Newcastle. Just going back to that. Yeah, Newcastle having a decent season. Yeah, because that was Arsenal did the double that season. Oh, was that right? Oh,
I don't know. You previously mentioned Manchester United. They scored 45 goals in their 19 games, so. They weren't, as opposed to Leicester's 12.
Yeah, as opposed to Leicester's
12. 4 times as many goals, basically.
Yeah. Just going back to the Brentford game last weekend, their home record sort of kind of mirroring ours from last season, isn't it, for goals and entertainment?
Yes, and which we added to. Right, well, thank you very much for that, Dave. That's number 1 on our list.
Cool.
We'll have a quick word from our friends at Atwells, and we'll be right back.
Blue Monday is proudly brought to you in partnership with our friends at Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for work on property or business law. Their client care has repeatedly been recognised as outstanding, and they are people-focused with a plain English approach which sets them apart. They have offices in Ipswich, Colchester and London, and to find out more, head to atwells.com.
Thank you, Mikey. Right, so we are now going a little bit further back, not too many years, to, well, a similar time of the year, the 2nd of January, 1995, Monday, the 2nd of January, 1995, Ipswich Town 4, Leicester 1. We are making the most of these the chances to go back in time by picking and choosing the matches that we wish to look at. Right. And as it was January, the very early January, it was, again, the Christmas number 1 from 1994. And this is, well, the video was Christmassy. The song, maybe not so much.
Need a bit more of a clue. Need a little bit more.
It's a boy band. We were talking about Take That earlier, but it was another boy band based in Essex, East London.
All right, he's 17, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, stay another day. A bit of a classic, that. Yeah, a bit of a classic. Yeah, very much. I remember a very Christmassy video. Yeah, you're right about the song, but yeah, a bit of a classic, and that kind of, I'm sure, how the charts come out today, probably on downloads and stuff, hits the charts year after year, probably. Yeah, classic, bit of a classic. That. Yeah,
keeps. I can't remember the name of the bloke who wrote the song. Brian Harvey's son, didn't he? Yeah, he was a singer, though, wasn't he? Who was
Mortimer,
the brains?
Mortimer, isn't it? Is his name
Mortimer?
Yeah,
it would have been.
Yeah,
we'll call him Brian as well.
Right,
but Brian Harvey obviously reversed over himself, didn't he, in his car?
He did somehow. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, moving on. This is the table before the match. Again, looks remarkably similar to the one that I just flicked up on the screen. We find ourselves although we find ourselves 2 positions lower in the league and in 22nd place because there were 22 teams in the league at this particular point.
Ipswich and Leicester. Why do we bother? Oh my God! Again, Craig, I just can't believe it. You say, going back into this is 30 years ago. God, crazy, isn't it?
22 games played, 3 wins from our first 22 matches. 4 goals conceded, and Leicester find themselves just above us.
Spoiler alert. I know we will cover. No doubt, as time goes on, cover more games from this season. Probably at some point, notably. One of the games against the second place team. All coming up. Actually, one of those games coming up very soon, actually. But it was, I think, just about, other than a couple of seasons after we actually won the league back in 63, 64, it was officially our worst ever season, wasn't it? Yeah, or on our way to being. Spoiler alert. Yeah, it was just horrific. But
I think probably in the days before XG and XGA and all this, just looking at the bare stats on in the table, we do look like potentially the worst team in the league there.
Well, I don't know. Just spoiler alert. So, saw match of the day last night, but Shearer. We'll get onto this later on, obviously, at some point. But Shearer's stats on us from last night would have looked 10 times worse, probably.
Oh,
dear.
Yeah. So cover star of the week. Let's move on to better things. We've spoken about him previously, a brainy footballer in our team at the time.
Phil Whelan. There he is. That looks like, what's it say? Would you say Chris Armstrong?
I'd say Stanley Collymore.
That might be a Forest shirt. You might be right.
Yeah,
Stanley Collymore.
It's Stan Collymore, isn't it?
Stanley Collymore. Yeah.
Who famously had the song from Eminem, which we've spoken about, him and Dido.
It did indeed, written about him.
Yeah. In terms of lineups, let's get the Ipswich one up for everybody. This is a team that, we spoke about the lineup from the previous match, potentially not. It was strange that it should find itself bottom of the league. Now, this is with all due care and respect to everyone that's named in this lineup, but you would probably argue that out of the 2 lineups, this would be the one that you would probably suspect may have been found towards the lower reaches of the Premier League at that time.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're probably right. But some good old names in there. Obviously you got a Craig Forrest, for Whelan, who we've just mentioned, Linnigan, obviously stalwart of our promotion side, Sedgley.
Most Premier League appearances for Ipswich Town, isn't he? David Linnigan still at the point of writing.
That is a superb stat. I never realised that, but yeah, when you think about it, he was pretty much present over those 2 seasons. Tony Vaughan, of course, as
Klaus Thompson, good player, wasn't he? Good
Thompson
cultural player.
Yeah, not the ultimate sort of pacey player, but yeah, could play technically good player. Stuart Slater, wow, Stuart Slater, who came with a sort of kind of a big reputation, didn't he? I think via West Ham and Celtic, and well, shades of it in this game, to be fair, shades of it in this game to get onto, but never really did it. And a debut. We'll get again more mention of him in a little while of for Adam Tanner.
Yeah, great stuff. And just a quick look at the Leicester
probably
lineup.
A week later, probably.
Yes, and we'll talk about in a sec. Scoring in this Leicester's team, some interesting names here as well. Simon Grayson, you find Simon Grayson there, and up front, David Lowe.
David Lowe up front with the pantomime villain that is Ewan Roberts. Yeah.
Again, looking through this team, there's not a team that strikes you as being particularly attacking, full of flair, is it? There's a lot of names in there, which Mark Draper apart, who obviously went
Mark Draper,
Villa, didn't he?
Villa, good player. I'm skulking down the right side of defence is so Mike Whitlow, isn't it? Who was going to, again, sort of pantomime villain, who was going to have an interesting evening at Portman Road about 5 or 6 seasons later.
Yes, he was indeed. Yeah, brilliant. Kevin Paul, I always remember as being Leicester's goalkeeper for years and years and years and years.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't think there's too inspiring team there.
But in terms of the game itself, there's some decent goals in this one. Again, thanks to Rich for finding these. It's 1-0 at half time from Chris Kiwomya, but I think it's a defence splitting pass. Calvin Phillips-esque through to George Hirsch yesterday, but sort of mirror image of it.
It was a lovely weighted ball, wasn't it? And a good finish too, because he just I don't think he barely takes a touch. It's a ball run across him, and it's a sort of a rising shot from the edge of the box past the keeper, doesn't he? And I think on the commentary, his 50th goal for Town.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe
and
it
obviously
was.
his mate Jason had disappeared by now, so he was sort of ploughing a lone furrow.
He was a bit of a milestone, for him. Yeah.
Yeah, Chrissy K, good old boy. And there were a few decent saves from Craig Forrest. In amongst here, aren't there? Some point blank tips really over and round. Yeah. He kept us in this one for a little bit until the aforementioned pantomime villain, Ewan Roberts, manages to get a tap in at the north stand end to make it 1-1. But then, did you say, Dave, the debutant?
Yeah, lovely goal, isn't it? Sort of ball inside, isn't it? And he sort of picks a ball up. Again, I think it's his first time, doesn't it? About 20, 25 yards out, really low, lovely little sort of daisy cutter shot, but hits it really good right in the far left corner. Keeper's got no chance with that, and he's off celebrating as you would expect. So no, great, on his debut as well. And yeah, look, I think amongst Ipswich fans, perhaps his career, as we know, didn't perhaps go the way or would have hoped that he would have hoped as well. But for those few games he was there, decent enough player, wasn't he? Quite strong, quite for a young lad, quite
good
big,
build, wasn't he?
Big,
for a
quite
midfielder.
big, could play, quite technical as well. But it just things just didn't work out for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, another one who wore a baggy shirt well, wasn't he? He's always a long sleeved guy as well, wasn't he? Adam Tanner.
Yeah.
This third goal, or our third goal, Dave, this Kiwomya thing. Do you want to try and explain this one to me? Because it was all over the shop, wasn't it?
It was all over the shop. It was all over the shop in the sort of the first phase of the game, first phase of the move, wasn't it? And from sort of thinking about what I saw the highlights, and then so that all seems to be done. And we don't, I think we should score. I think maybe even it's Kiwomya. I think anyway, it doesn't. The ball gets cleared, and then sort of Kiwomya is sort of like skulking back to the halfway line. I think it's Thompson, isn't it? Suddenly Thompson's got the ball in the centre of the centre of the Leicester half. Just gets it under control and then just turns and just plays in Kiwomya, who's between him and the goalkeeper. And it's a good finish, actually.
It's a lovely finish
really nice
again.
Finish. Again, he's sort of like really composed, and the ball sort of like sits up a bit, and it's a side foot cushioned like lob over the keeper. It's a lovely finish, and he does a bit of a strange old celebration after that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he was making them up on the hoof, wasn't he, at this particular point in time? The first goal was that, I don't know if people remember that celebration, that like really rigid-armed, rigid-legged
Yeah, that one.
Stance celebration. Yeah,
Second
so,
one is a bit of a I don't know, a hybrid of that, I think. But yeah, really good finish. And I can remember being in the game and thinking, Christ, we scored 3 goals. What's going on? But
we
it
were going to
gets
go on to
better.
go on to score a fourth, Dave. Yeah, and probably from a not obvious scorer of the goal either. Certainly being in the 6-yard box all by himself. I think he was our furthest forward player at this particular point in time when Kiwomya swung it in.
Someone who's watching this will no doubt shoot me down and say, "Do you think this might be his first goal since the 2-goal week against Man U and Spurs?"
Tottenham.
Do you think?
Well,
do you think it might be? I don't know.
I can't imagine he was free scoring.
I can't recall. Well, no one was free scoring this, but I can't recall him being free scoring in the intervening years. But it's Frank Yallop, isn't it? Pops up. This is quite a good move. I think with Slater, is it Slater that puts the ball in? Or I can't recall. But it's a really good cross, and he just gets up and powers it in, doesn't he? From about 6 yards. Great header.
Yes, Kiwomya sort of stands it up, doesn't he? At the far.
It is Kiwomya, yeah. So what a game he's had, crikey! Great fantasy. Blimey, if only fantasy football, and he had triple captain Kiwomya for that game, you'd been a right winner, wouldn't you? Almost as much as no, I won't say. And it's great ball, and great ball. As you say, hangs it up, and real determined stuff from Yallop. Wins the ball, 6-yard box, powers it in, and we're off a 4-1 thumping win. Spoiler alert. Wasn't going to get any better.
No.
That was probably it for the season, wasn't it?
Well, it was our first win since the 1st of November. The first win, actually, for George Burley.
Yes, he was, of course. He came in just before Christmas.
December. Exactly.
I think, Craig, our last win would have been, I think we beat Leeds. I believe we beat Leeds 1 or 2-0, I think. I can recall that. Maybe there was a game in between, but I mean, the pickings from this season were so slim. But that was a great win.
Yeah, and we leapfrogged up above Leicester into 21st position. Still, mind you, a good 6 or 7 points.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. How it's already. Say already. What I'm talking about is 23 games, for God's sake. But you're 6 points adrift. Needless to say, we didn't quite manage to make it up, did we?
No. Sadly not.
It's nice to look back. Nice to look back at that game. You kind of forget some of those goals. I can remember Tanner's goals. Certainly Tanner's goal I could remember. But you forget about the 2 really good finishes from Kiwomya in that game.
They were, and I remember the Kiwomya celebrations more than I remember the goals. Actually, the sort of celebrations. But as you rightly say, Dave, in a season in particular which didn't have an awful lot to shout about, the Lee Chapman season, wasn't it? It would have been.
Literally, where are we?
Came and went.
A couple of weeks later. Literally, a couple of weeks later, which I probably, January. I'm sure that might have been January, maybe early February '95. He came with we signed Alex Matthew, didn't we?
Yeah, because as we said just now, Chris Kiwomya, bless him, was ploughing a lone furrow up front, and he probably wasn't built for that particular role. But albeit he scored 2 goals, and as you say, stuck a cross in for Frank Yallop to.
I was just looking who was on the bench. I suppose the only little alternative to him on the bench was Steve Palmer, and Neil Gregory was on the bench. That was it. No, you're right. Both those sides, sadly lacking. I know we mentioned Klaus Thompson and that, but lacking in a little bit of quality, Premier League quality there, I think.
Super. All right. Well, I think that's probably approaching half an hour. So we'll.
Great stuff.
Yeah, cut that there. But thank you very much, Dave, for your time as ever. Again, thank you for our new show sponsors, All About Hearing. Pop onto their website, allabouthearing.co.uk, and see if they can help you out at all. Thanks for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back. So the guys will be back on Thursday for the pre-match, and then on Sunday night for the flagship, as we hopefully outfox Leicester.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks, mate.
This has been the Rewind Show on Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. We'll see you in a bit.